Shalom Aleichem to his friends. This year should be a special schus for Gil Amir ben Penina, who mishpachto, and for Daniel Yaakov ben Sar Liba, who mishpachto, Bracha B'Sach Mechos Heidem, and Li Nishmas Rabbi Yoam Pinchas Halevi, and Li Nishmas Rabbi David Tzvi ben Rabbi Yosef, and Li Nishmas Chana Bas Rabbi Tzigyoina, and Chana Bas Maris Chana Bas Rabbi Tzigyoina, and Maris Chana Bas Rabbi Meir Zev, Maris Esther Bas Shmuel. We're learning a sugya about Hefker. Very interesting sugin Bav Mitzia, and Daf Yud Beis. The Gemara asks, what's the din if somebody takes a wallet and he throws it into a house? Zorak Arniki takes a wallet, Pesach Zeh, and he threw it into this doorway and it went out the other doorway. What's the din? Do we say that Avir Shein Sof Lanuach Kamunach Dami or not? Do we say that since it's, even though it's not going to rest, it's like it's already resting, and therefore the person, the owner of this house, is Koneh? Or not? And then the person in the house who owns the house doesn't get it. Whoever gets it on the other side gets it. And then the Gemara answered from the case of Matana, that if matana, if somebody has a matana in a field, let's say somebody wants to give somebody else a matana in his field, an animal, and the person, the owner of the field, wouldn't be able to run after and catch up with the animals. The Gemara says he's still koneh, even though he wouldn't be able to catch up with them. Why? Obviously because it's kemunach dami. It's like it's resting in his field, these animals. So he's koneh the matana. And so too, he's koneh this arniki. And the Gemara rejects that. And the Gemara says, no, there's a difference. Because in that case, it's mizgalgel. Shiny mizgalgel, kamunach dami here. It's not mizgalgel here, it's in the airspace. Look upon him, that's the Sugis HaGemara in a nutshell. The Rush writes that this is an ibaya de lo ifshita. This is a question that has not been resolved. And therefore, if it's a case of matana, yochol achzor bo. Because we're mamin memona b'cheskes marakama. A matana, he can change his mind. And therefore, if the person isn't able to get to this matana in time before it leaves his field, your mamin memona b'cheskes marei, b'cheskes marakama, first guy who gets to keep it. But behefker, since nistalkwa bailim, if some other person was machzik, motziin miyado. Why? Because the Baal Abayis, because the Baal Abayis was muchzak b'safik misafik b'tchila. Hefker, there was a silik on the Bailim, and therefore if somebody else tried to take this object, in our case, where he was mafkir, this purse, this wallet, and he threw it through the house, somebody else tries to take it, we take it away from him. Why? Because the Baal Abayis, the owner of the house, was muchzak at first misafik. So if it's a matana, the owner can be retract, and he's the marakama. But Hefker, there's no bailim, he was mistalik. So if somebody else tries to take it, after it goes through the other side, motziin miyado. Why? Because the Baal Abayis was muchzak b'safik b'tchila. The Baal Abayis had it first. In the Sefer Tokfo Kohen, he brings a kash in the name of Adonai HaMelech from the Rosh, B'seches Bava Basra. There you have cases of Stos HaGer. You want to know who's Kona the Sada of the Ger? after he died, which became Hefker. So the Gemara isn't sure if it's a Kinyan or not a Kinyan. The Gemara concludes with a Teku. And the Rosh says he's not Muchzik Misafik, even though they were talking about Hefker. So why, in the case of Hefker and Bava Basra, by Stos Hager, do we say that he's not Muchzik Misafik? And in our case of Hefker, where he throws the purse through the house, he is Muchzik Misafik. Ma'ishna Aimei Hai. And that B'siyata D'Shmaya is going to be Unzer Arbit, our Avod in this Shir, to try to understand. In the Sefer Nosen Pirio of a Gaon at Tzadik, Nosen Gestetner, Zchon Levracha, page Peches, he discusses this at length, and we're going to go with his Mahalach. To be Miyashiv the Rosh. Why the Rosh over here says Behefker, he is Muchzik Misafik, and above a Basra, Behefker, he's not Muchzik Misafik. Because we have to be Mechalek between Hefker Midas, in other words, the Bailim were Mafkirit, and the Hefker of Nichse Hager, which is Hefker Memela. After the Ger died, it's an automatic Hefker. Because in our Sugya, Rava asked, Zorak Arniki b'Pesach zeh, v'yotze b'Pesach acher ma'u. Avir shein sof l'nuach k'munach dami, olav k'munach dami. Rashi says, Zorak Arniki, v'ifkiro l'chol ha'koidim. He was mafkir to anybody who got it first. Tosas asks on Rashi, he was mafkir to whoever gets it first. Tosas says this is not correct girsa. You can't say va'afkare. There was no hefker here. Why was there no hefker? Because the Gemara considers it Daas Acheres Makneh. Because we're bringing a raya from a Tana where it's Daas Acheres Makneh. And if he was mafkirit, immediately when it went out of his hand, it would be Hefker. And then when the person is Zoiche, there's no Daas Acheres Makneh. So how can you have the Girsa of Afkare if the Gemara tells Tzu to a case of Matana? And Matana there's Daas Acheres Makneh. And here, if it's Hefker, there's no Daas Acheres Makneh. There's no Daas Acheres Makneh because the second it leaves his hand, it's no longer in his Rishus. It's Hefker. And then B'Shaz Zchir, there's no Daas Acheres Makneh. And therefore, Tosafos says there's no Va'afkare here. Rashi is not correct that he was Mafkirit. Whether your Girs is Va'afkare, Rashi is V'fkiro L'chol HaKodim. There's no Hefker here. And really it's his. Achi Yizke Ba'acher. No. It's the owner's until somebody else gets it. And then there's Daas Acheres Makneh. So that's the only way it could be compared to Matana. Matana is when the guy gets it, then the Daas Acheres is Makneh. But here, if there was first Hefker, and then only after there was Hefker, later on, it was Daas Acheres Makneh, and later on the person was Zoche, there's no Daas Acheres Makneh. So how can that be compared to the case of Matana? It must be that he wasn't Mafkirit. It's his until the other guy gets it, and then there's Daas Acheres Makneh, just like the case of Matana. So we have to miyashiv das Rashi. How can Rashi say that he was mafkirit l'chol hakodem, whoever gets it first? There's no das Acheres Makneh if he's mafkirit, because then First he's mafkir it, and then only afterwards somebody is zocha. That's not Daas Acheres Makneh. That's not Daas Acheres Makneh. It's not his anymore to be Makneh to the other guy. So how can you compare that to Matana with his Daas Acheres Makneh? Rashi also says v'fkir l'chol hakodim. Pashut, every hefker is l'chol hakodim. So those drei Wörter in Rashi, the three words in Rashi, ma'amidot b'fanenu, simanei she'ila. Okay. אז כדי ליישב דעת רש"י, אנחנו צריכים להבהיר ולהסביר מה הגדר, מה האופי של דין הפקר. Torah says the din of Hefker. אפשר לפרש את זה בשלוש פנים. Three ways of understanding Hefker, at least. Number one, you could say that Hefker is midin siluk. Hefker is midin siluk. You're removing yourself. You're removing your reshus and your kinyan from this object. And the object is no bailim. That's what Hefker is. You remove yourself from this object. And the object is no bailim. And Mimela kol hakodim zachabo. He says, no, that's bailim to be ma'akev. And this would appear to be the opinion of Tosfos. Daf Lamed Ches. Amid Aleph, Dibra Maskul HaMafkir writes, Aval Hefker Shemesalik Rishuso Me'olav. Same the Ritva Kedushin Tezayin, Sileg Yodev Rishuso Mimenu. So number one, the first way is Siluk. Number two, that he's Makneh the Chayfetz to the whole world. Kol Arotza Litzkas Go Rishus Biyado. And according to that, the difference between Matan and Hefker is that by Matana he's Makneh the Chayfetz to a specific person. By Hefker he's Makneh the Chayfetz to the whole world. And it doesn't mean that since it's Mufker, Mamela has no Bailim. No. Through the Hefker, the object comes the Rishus Kol HaOlam. And everybody is called Bailim. Because everybody can be Zelcha Bofen Muchlat. Based on this, we can understand the Gemara in Bamitzia, Daf Yud. Hamagbiya Mitzia Lachavero. Lo Kana. Because he's Tovis L'Baal Chov, Mog Mishchov L'Acherim. If he's Magbiya Mitzia for his friend, he's not Konit because he's Chov L'Achrini. So everybody asks, why is it Chov L'Achrini? The others have no kinyan in this Chayvetz. Shita Mukubetzes. But based on what we said, we understand very well that this Chayvetz HaMufkar is Bershus Kol HaOlam. And if he's Magbiyat for his friend, he's Motzi Omer Bershus Kol Echad Ve'echad. And it's Chov L'Achrini. So writes the Rashban Kedushin 65b. Then Magbiyah Metzia Lachavero is Tofis L'Baal Chov, Mogsh Chov L'Acherim. Because Hefker is Chusa Kol Alea. V'nim Tzezek Mechayev Acherim She'echol Liskos, but he's Mechayev other people who could have been Zocha in this. So it belongs to everybody. With this we can explain the Shita of the Bala Yereim, brought in the Rosh. Nedarim Lamedalat on Beis, how you still fun of Kikar Shel Hekdesh. That this person can be Makdish a Kikar that's far away from him. No one's nearby that could be Zocha except for him. Since he could be Zocha in this Kikar, he could be Makdish it. Ayin Sham, Rosh and Nedarim Lamedalat Amid Beis. So we have to understand the Rosh. Nachon, can be Zocha in this Kikar, but he wasn't yet Zocha. It's not Bershuso. So How's he makdish a kikar that's not b'rishuso? How's he makdish this loaf that's not b'rishuso? So based on what we said, we can explain that since the kikar is mufkar, it's b'rishus kol olam. It's also in his rishus. So if other people can still be zoch in this kikar, his hektish doesn't help, because it's also b'rishus acherim das acherim akeves alav. When there's nobody nearby and he's the only guy, that's like makirei kahuna. And when somebody's giving to a specific kohen, Rashi and Gittin and Daf Lamed Amud Aleph, the other kohanim were mesiach das. And the Beis Ephraim explains in the Yoredeh and Siman Samach that since the truma is the kinyan hashevet, he doesn't need a new kinyan. So as long as we don't know which kohen it's going to, he wasn't Mekayim Mitzvahs Nesina, because nobody was acquiring it b'ofen muchlat. But Makirei Kahuna, since the other kohanim know he gives it specifically to this kohen, they're mesiach das, they're mesiayish. So this kohen is kohen memela without any kinyan. Same thing with Hefker. You don't need a new kinyan because anyway it belongs to everybody. Anyway it belongs to everybody. So therefore, if nobody's around, he could be makdish it. Other people are around and their das is makiv. They could also be zoch in it. But the second nobody else is around, he could be makdish it because it's also in his rishus. We also find Masechah Shabbos Davav, Arba Rishus L'Shabbos, Yosh Zarabim, Frek the Gemara. Why don't we also mention the Midbar, included in the examples of Rishus Harabim? And Rabbi says, Kam B'zman Shisol Shirim B'Midbar, Kam B'zman Azeh. Rashi says, when the Jews were in the Midbar, it's considered Rishus Harabim. B'zman Azeh, it's not Makom Hilch Harabim, because there are not a lot of people walking in Midbaros. So we see from this that together Rishus Harabim doesn't mean that it doesn't belong to a yachid, because then Rishus Harabim, then Midbar be Rishus Harabim. Now the pshat is that it's shaykh to the rabbim. It's Rishuso shokol echad ve'echad. Therefore, a midbar that's not a mokum hilach l'rabbim is not begeder Rishus Harabim, since it's not the Rishus of the rabbim. Not a Rishus at all. Rishus Harabim is not a geder shlili that it's not a Rishus of the Yachid. It's a geder chiyuvi. It's shaykh to everyone. And therefore, only when the Jews are in the desert, it's considered Rishus Harabim. And the same thing with Hefker. We can say that it's not a geder shlili that it has no bailim. Adarabah, everybody is the bailim. So that's number two. Number one, siluk. Number two, that it belongs to, that you're removing yourself from it. Number two, that it belongs to everybody. And achshav pana shlishi. Begeder Hefker. She'ena mafkir makneh l'rishus kol kol. You're not giving it to the whole world. You're makneh to the person who's zocha first. And when this person is zocha, igloi milsa. The me'olam lo ikneyu amafkir el azeh shezocha bo mikodem. Then it was revealed that you were zochet, that you were mezaget to the guy who got it first. That's together. That you're throwing it out there with the kavana that whoever gets it first, it's his. And then whoever gets it first, it's taka his. Igloy Muslim afraid. That's the guy you meant, as they say. Now, whether Hefker is considered Das Acheres Makneh, according to the first parish that Hefker is Siluk, it's Pashut, it's not Das Acheres Makneh. He's not Makneh to anybody, he's just Mistalik. He just removes himself. But according to the Letzte Tzvai Perishim, according to the last two Perushim, that Hefker is Haknoah Le'alma. He's being Makneh to the world, or he's being Makneh to the person who gets it first. It's considered Das Acheres Makneh. So before we come to a complete understanding of Rashi, that we want to understand the Heilige Werte was Rashi hat geschrieben. We want to understand the Milim HaKdoshot Rashi katav. V'fkiro lekol hakodem. Before that, נאמר עוד, שאף על פי שאמרנו, שהפקר הוא דעת אחרת מקנה. Whether we say it's Haknoah La'alma or whether we say it's Haknoah to the guy who gets it first. But there's a chiluk between these two Das Acheres Maknes. And that is, The Bishlema, where we're talking about the Gavra himself that wants to be Zoiche, and we're done, we're discussing if he's Zoche or not. And if we say that Das Acheres is Makneh, then his Zechiyah is effective, like where he's no Kavanas Kinyan. Like the Ravid says, brought by the Nimukah Yosef in Baba Basar 41a, that Das Acheres Makneh doesn't require Kavanas Kinyan. So there we say that since Hefker is Haknal Alma, it's Das Acheres Makneh, Zochi without Kavanas Kinyan. But in the case of Rava, that we have in our Gemara here in Bava Metzia, page 12a, if he's Zoyrik and Arniki be Pesach Zevi to Pesach Acher, and the Shaila is that since somebody else snatched it, if the first guy was Conan, even though it's Avir, She'ein Sofo Lanuach, was the owner of the house Conan, even though it's Avir She'ein Sofo Lanuach? Or no, was the latter guy Conan, because he did a Maisa Kinyan that's effective, definitely, Bevados. So there's Das Acheres Makneh, Hein Lo HaRishon, Hein Lo HaAcharon. They both have Das Acheres Makneh, because he was Makneh the Chayfetz to the ganze Welt. B'Shaveh, everybody's equal. So it's Das Acheres Makneh legabi Shnei Mesupakim. Ruvain is part of the world, and Shimon is part of the world. The Kofrim today say, no, God didn't create the world. Afar L'Pumayu. Rather, you're right, this universe is impossible that it exists. I'm saying there was too many factors involved. It's a 1 in a gazillion. So they say there was a multiverse. There are just lots and lots and lots of universes out there. Lots and lots of universes that we don't know about. And somehow by chance we happen to be in this one. But by chance there are many, many other ones. All created by mistake. So don't say this is the only one that works. There are lots of them. Mashu kazeh. I don't know, I was once Osek in these, more than once in these inyanim. They'd rather believe that when they have zero proof than believe in the Rabbanu Shalom. Derech HaKofrim. They'll do anything to deny. Once you decide, like today modern psychology teaches, a person makes the decision in life. Not rational. Irrational. Okay. Kopanim, we got off the topic. These two guys. It's always good to remember when you're learning that God created the world. Always good to remember. Always the topic. Right now we want to know what the God created the world says about this Rashi. How we're supposed to learn this Rashi to understand what God is thinking in this case of Zorak Arniki. Beautiful. So both guys are a member of this universe. No other universes. So Memela, since they're both members of this universe, so this Das Acheres Makneh was to both of them equally. And if that's the case, then Tosa is a good kasha. What do we bring a raya from Matana for? That a Matana, if a guy won't be able to get the Matana while it's still in his field, he won't be able to catch up to it. It's his. What's the raya? Bishlema Matana, there's a Das Acheres Makneh, only the Gabe Oso Yochid. He wants to give him this Matana. So he's Kohen, even though he's not going to be able to catch up. Hashem gain Hefker, he's knocking into the world. So it's B'Rishus Kol Echad Ve'echad. Until one person makes an absolute kinyan. So now, if it happens that one of them wants to be Zochai De'av Shein Sofel Nuach to Mitzad Atzmo, it's not Kohen, it's only Kohen because Das Acheres Makneh. There we say, what does it help to have this mile of Das Acheres Makneh Mitzad HaMafkir? There's a Greyusa. It also has a minus, it has a plus, it has a minus. Mitzad HaMesupik, Hasheni. that this chayfetz is Birshuso. Because the guy who picked it up afterwards, now it's in his Rishus. So you can also say, hey man, I got it in my Rishus now, and it was Mufkar L'chol Olam, and now I'm Zoche. He was Makneh to me also. We're equal. The previous President of the United States always spoke about equality. Equality for all people. Love saying that. Muslim Americans, African Americans, Chinese Americans, equality. See, here also we have equality. If you're Makneh to the whole world, it's equality for the whole world. You're giving it to the guy in the house, equally his, when it's Hefker, and the guy, not the guy who owns the house, but the guy outside who picks it up afterwards, equally his. So how can that be compared to Matana? Matana, he's only Makneh to ein Mensch. Obirdu, he is Makneh not to one guy, he's Makneh to both of them. They both have equal rights to it now that they're Koneh it, because it's to the whole world originally. And then whoever gets it, it becomes his. But here they both got it, right? They're both claiming rights to it. So how can you compare the two? By Matana, there's only one guy. Here there are two who are in competition for this object. So how do we know here that there's a tzad that Kinyan Shein Sofa Lanuach Kamunach Dami? Maybe here no. Because afterwards the other guy got it. And he has equal rights. So yeah, there's a Mal Yusa of Daas Acheres Makneh, but there's a great Usa that's Daas Acheres Makneh to the other guy also, to the rest of the world. So in order that you don't ask this kasha, Rashi in his great wisdom explained that it's talking about where he was mafkrit l'chol hakodem. In other words, he's only mafkrit to the guy who gets it first. And miyad kishizachabо igloi milsalam afreya, that he's only giving it to him. And not to others. And now it turns out that the chayvetz wasn't b'rishuso shokol echad ve'echad. It wasn't b'chal b'rishuso shokol echad ve'echad. Whose rishus was it in? Only the guy who gets it first. So there's no grace on mitzad rishus ha'olam. There's no problem. There's no issue with the fact that it belonged to the whole world. Because there is no Rishus Olam. Because he wasn't Mafkir Meikara to the Olam. Only the guy who's going to get it first. So now we're only left with the Mal Yusa of Daas Acheres Makneh. And maybe he's Konet and Avir Shein Sofa Lanuach, just like a Matana. There, if he's Lo Magio, it belongs to him. Here too also, if he's Lo Magio. If it flew out, it belongs to him. And for Taisis Kasha and Rashi, he says Hefker isn't Dom Matana. By Hefker, it's Yasem Rishus Eliyad. Midlet Rishus Eliyad, it goes out of Rishus immediately. And only afterwards the person is Zoche, but by Matana there's Daas Acheres Makneh B'Shas Zechiyah, like we said. No! The answer is that here we're talking about where it was Mafkarit L'chol HaKodim Liskosbo, and the other person was Zochin. Now we're glad Muslim afraid, and now he's doing his Daas Acheres Makneh. So there is a Daas Acheres Makneh B'Shas Zechiyah, just like by Matana. And now also for the kasha of the Madani Melech and the Rosh that we started off with, that in the Shaila of Zarganagi Paskins, that Behefkerim Hechzik Ba Acher, Motzi and Miyado, because he's Mufkor B'Safik Misafik B'Tchila. Somebody else tries to take it? No. The owner of the house is Muchsak Misafik from the beginning. It's too late. But in the cases of Stos Hager, where people were Kona these Sados after with Kinyana Misupakim, We're not sure if they made a proper kinyan. After the ger died, he's now muchzik misafek. So why here yes, muchzik misafek, there no? The answer is Bishleim b'bistos hager, that it's hefker automatically. They made the Bailam died and they have no yorshim. So there, nobody has any more of rights than anybody else. So since the first guy was only Zochim Misafik, and the second guy Bivados, Ein Motzim Yad Sheni, you don't take it from the second guy. Because the Achzaka Safik of the first guy is not a Chazaka. It's not a Chazaka of the first guy. It's only Misafik. The second guy gets it, Mazal Tov, כמו שאומרים בשמחות. Mashen came in the Shiloh of Zarek Arniki. Rashi says, Hefker l'chol hakodim. Which means that he was mafkirit to the person who's zocha bo tchila. And the Rosh also holds that it's Hefker. Not like Tosu says not Hefker. So if so, when the Rishon was zocha misafek, and the second guy gets it, Vadai motzin miyad hasheni. Why? Because the first guy has more rights than the second guy. Because when he was mafkirit, who was he mafkirit? To the person who's zoche b'tchila. So now when the second guy comes to try to get it, now we have a suffix. Is it b'chlal hefker or not? Was this Arniki mufkar b'shvilo or not? Is he in the parsha at all? If the Rishon made a kinyan vadoi, then the second guy never had any shaykhs to this. So even now, when the Rishon made a kinyan safek, al yedei do ifshita abaya, since we didn't solve this shayla of zarak arniki bebeso, which is avir shein sofel nuach, so it emerges that legabe the second guy, there's a safek be'etzem hefker, because if the first guy got it, it was never Hefker in the first place for the second guy. So the first guy's better than the second guy. First guy, we know when he got it that it was Hefker. We just want to know that he make a proper kinyan. When it comes to the second guy, we didn't even know if it was Hefker for him, because maybe the first guy was already Koneh. So the Schus HaRishon is a difa. Mashenkin, in the case of the Ger, when he died, there, it's absolutely Hefker for both of them. It's not a Shaila on the second guy, was it ever Hefker for him? It was definitely Hefker for him from the get-go. The first guy made a kinyan. We don't know if it's his or not. Second guy made a Vada kinyan. I'm Vada, you're Suffolk. I beat you. We're on equal footing. We're on equal ground. But in our case, we're not on equal ground. Why aren't we on equal ground? Because as Rashi says, whoever gets it first, like we explained, that's one of the possibilities of Hefker. He's mafker it to whoever gets it first. It's not like kol olam kuno. And then whoever gets it first, it will be mizbar that it was never Hefker in the first place for anybody else. And therefore the second guy who takes this arnak, say to him, hey dude, we don't even know if it was Hefker in the first place. We have a suffix and that's a Hefker. So the first guy has more rights to it than you do, because for him at least we know it's Hefker. And therefore, ein motzin miyad Rishon. He's a muchzik misafik. Shaking in the case of the ger, there, since they're both equal, and the second guy made a kinyan vadai. Now the first guy made a kinyan safik, we give it to the second guy. Pillay plos, Rabbi said. Pillay plos. We learned about 3 types of Hefker. That he's mistalik, that he gives to the whole world, or that he gives it to whoever gets it first. That we answered. Kasha Madani Melech on the Rosh, at the difference between the Ger's property, where he's not Muchzik Misafik, and here he is Muchzik Misafik. We answer the Kasha of Tosis. How can we talk about Hefker? It's not like Daas Acheres Makneh. The answer is that it is. And there's a lot more to say about this sugya, sweet friends. But I think this is enough to digest for now. Give me a bracha. We should be zoche to continue these shiurim. Lomod ulamei lishma b'lasos. L'kaim is called divrei salmu tarasu b'ahava. To remember, no matter what we learn, That sof dovra kol nishmas Elokim yirav es mitzvahs of shmor, ki zeh kol ha'adam. The ikar is that we should have Yiras Shamayim, do the mitzvahs, simcha ba'ava u'tuv levav, amen v'amen, shalom shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.